Alright.
Welcome to my Whirlwind build, you spinning bastards. This build is very simple one and it revolves around one thing. Doing a lot of melee AoE damage. To get this done to great effect, I've chosen Swashbuckler as my multi-class, and also I've chosen very specific weapon called Wahai, Poraga, something like that. It's a Pollaxe. Because of the devoted subclass, Pollaxe weapon specialization is a must. With this setup, we're gonna do nasty amount of damage to everyone around us, and our survivability will be relatively high. This build can be played solo, because it's really powerful and it will drop enemies really quickly, especially later on. As for the beginning of the game, I'm not sure. If you're playing this in group, simply put this character away from others so that you don't kill them with Pollaxe's attacks, because they hit friend and foe. For this build I'm using Devoted plus Street Fighter subclasses. Devoted to increase damage done with weapons, while Street Fighter is here also to increase sneak attack damage and decrease recovery time. Our goal is to be surrounded all the time, so that we do most damage and get the most bonuses. Race doesn't matter, go for whatever you want. Might should be somewhere at 14 because of the healing done, primarily. Constitution can be at 10, Dexterity can also be at 10. We don't need high dexterity because with Street Fighter passive and also through some items we will have extremely low recovery time. Perception needs to be maxed out because we need to hit with every attack. Intellect can be left at 10 and Resolve around 15, or if you want you can dump Dexterity a bit more and go for maximum Resolve. I really suggest Alchemy here or Athletics, especially if you're playing this solo, because this can be played solo. That way you're gonna have most out of it. If you use Taru Turu Chu Drug, this is what your stats will look like, which will increase your survivability a lot. From Fighter 3 what we need are Discipline Strikes, Refreshing Defense, so that we get plus 20 to all defenses including Deflection. Fighter Stance upgraded to Mob Stance so that we cleave on kill. And Unbending. From passives we need Rapid Recovery, that is increased by Might attribute. Two-handed Style, Confident Aim, Determination is a nice one. Weapon Specialization upgraded to Weapon Mastery is a must. Overbearing Guard, although this is not needed if you're playing solo. Armored Grace, Uncanny Luck, and that would be all. Everything else is optional. From Rogue Tree, the only thing that you need is Crippling Strike from active abilities. We're gonna spam this all the time when it's our turn to attack. This is simply one of the best skills now in the game, so it's a good choice. From passive abilities, what you need is Dirty Fighting, Riposte. This is why we need higher deflection, that we're gonna boost through Vigorous Defense. Persistent Distraction. As I've said multiple times, Persistent Distraction works with death blows instantly. So every attack that we do will have death blows effect added. I mean, it only works for melee attackers, not for ranged ones. Deep Wounds is a must. And Improved Critical. For our weapon we are using Pollaxe, Wahai Poraga. This thing can be obtained in the quest Cornet's Call when you get to that vault after that big fight with that squid enemy or whatever that thing is. It's in the old city. This thing has Reckless Cyclone AoE attack, which does what it says here. You can also upgrade it to get these benefits. Minus 20% melee damage received for 2 seconds on launching attack. Considering that our recovery time is extremely low with this setup when we are surrounded, this bonus will be active most of the time. Also upgrade this to counter attack, so that you return some of the incoming melee damage. Cool thing about this weapon is that it does 2 types of damage, slash and crush, so you're set here. You can play devoted with this without any issues, and without the need to switch weapons at all. As for armor, I would go for something like this, Reckless Brigandine. I just figured out that I was playing with exceptional quality against highest level enemies, which is not a good thing. I forgot to upgrade it. Anyway, additional effects that you get with this particular armor is that you get plus 5% action speed in melee with that increases per engaged target. So this stacks with passive ability from Street Fighter, which means your recovery time will be extremely low. And you also get this increased damage and also increased armor rating as you start to lose health. Really nice. There's plenty of good choices here for armor, so go for whatever you like. For example, Patinated armor is a nice choice as well because it stuns attackers. It increases your recovery time, but it does not matter. You can enchant it to remove that increased recovery debuff. Plenty of good choices regarding armor. As for the rest of the thingies, everything I've put here is optional, although I would suggest that you go for one item that increases deflection plus 7. That can be either Bracers of Greater Deflection or Cape of Greater Deflection. Bad thing is that they do not stack, so you can only have one of them. As for the rest, go for whatever you want. For belt, it would be a good choice to go with Torkar's belt that gives you Reforged the Flesh, that way you can heal back up to full health. Well, almost anyway. I went with Undying Burden belt. It reduces incoming damage as health is lost. And it gives us some constitution. Also good choice, but Reforged the Flesh might be a safer option. This helm is optional. I went with it because of the reduced recovery time and because it looks cool with this setup. You don't have to go for it, there are better choices here. That's why I'm saying this helm is optional. For drugs, use Taruturu Chu because it will increase your survivability a lot. Now for the combat demonstration. Use drugs before the fight, and there's really not much to it. Turn on your mob stance so that it decreases recovery time per engaged target, and you're ready to rock and roll. Use Discipline Strikes and then use Refreshing Defense. After that, spam Crippling Strikes when you're surrounded by enemies, and when you kill an enemy, Cleaving Stance will activate, which means you're gonna do additional spin with additional damage done. Every time you do damage through riposte or cleaving stance, you're gonna do additionally that AoE damage that is default for this weapon. So it all stacks together, that's why there are so many damage numbers when I kill an enemy. If you're in trouble, use Unbending, and that's it. Thanks to all the buffs, you can see how recovery time is extremely low. I'm constantly able to attack with Crippling Strikes. That's the whole build, really simple yet so very effective. Thank you all for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, and see you all soon.
This fight is mine.